Greenland's prime minister advocates for independence from Denmark, influenced by Trump's interest. President Biden prevents a $14 billion purchase of U.S. steel by Japan's Nippon Steel, leading to condemnation from both Nippon Steel. Lawmakers argue that it is premature to remove U.S. sanctions on Syria. Officials report that Israeli troops set fire to a hospital in northern Gaza after evacuating staff and patients. A week ago, the U.S. sanctioned former Georgian Prime Minister and billionaire Ivanishvili. Britain and the U.S. have also sanctioned Georgian officials for their actions against pro-EU protesters. Reuters indicates that Guatemala is willing to receive deportees from Central America sent by Trump, according to sources. In Mozambique, 6,000 prisoners flee from a high-security facility during post-election unrest. A significant portion of Obamacare applications originate from states that voted for Trump. Japan Airlines experiences a cyber attack, leading to certain flight delays. Finland investigates a Russian Shadow Fleet oil tanker following a cable-cutting event. China operates a newly developed stealth fighter jet, speculated to be of the sixth generation.
Whistleblower claims CIA covered up foreign involvement in Havana syndrome attacks in revealing interview. Meanwhile, a Russian court has instructed Yandex to conceal images of an oil refinery following Ukrainian attacks, according to TASS. Additionally, senior officials' laptops were compromised in a U.S. Treasury hack linked to China, as Treasury's sanctions office hacked by Chinese government, officials say, and the Financial Times reports that AI-generated phishing scams are now targeting corporate executives.
Do Kwon has been extradited to the United States to stand trial on charges related to the Terra cryptocurrency's $40 billion collapse. Upon arrival, Do Kwon entered a plea of not guilty to the charges concerning the Terra downfall. Meanwhile, in the United States, the Corporate Transparency Act, which mandates businesses to disclose their owners, has been delayed once more. An appeals court has temporarily halted the enforcement of this anti-money laundering legislation. Additionally, the U.S. government has imposed sanctions on a Chinese government contractor that hired Flax Typhoon hackers.
Brazil's unemployment rate reaches a new record low, yet the pace of job creation decelerates. In the United States, unemployment benefit applications remain constant, but continuing claims have surged to a 3-year high. Additionally, homelessness has increased by 18%, as affordable housing remains elusive for numerous individuals, with factors such as migrants and the cessation of COVID restrictions reportedly contributing to this rise. Meanwhile, in Cambodia, an opposition leader has been imprisoned following his conviction for inciting disorder. Mexico is piloting a cell phone app that enables migrants to notify authorities if they are on the verge of being detained in the U.S. Concerns arise in Mexico that Trump might authorize strikes against drug cartels, prompting plans to open shelters for more than 12,000 citizens deported during Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. MSNBC remarks that the present Democratic Party lacks any appeal for Trump supporters.
Yara, Washington, D.C. expels a high-ranking Somali national found guilty of human rights abuses. Allegedly, critics of Elon Musk have had their verification badges revoked following public confrontations with a billionaire, marking the initial stages of censorship. Venezuela is probing an Argentine officer for connections to terrorism, according to the Attorney General.
China might have prevented Putin from deploying nuclear weapons, according to Blinken. India plans to address Chinese dams with the U.S. National Security Advisor during his visit to New Delhi. Chilean president embarks on a groundbreaking journey to the South Pole amid Antarctica sovereignty dispute. 8 months prior, Chilean lawmakers convened in Antarctica to convey territorial assertions to Russia. Venezuela imposes a $10 million fine on TikTok due to fatalities associated with the viral challenge. A significant data breach involving Volkswagen has revealed the travel patterns of 800,000 electric vehicle owners, tracking their movements from residences to various locations, including brothels. According to Wall Street Journal, in China, the elusive crime boss connected to billion-dollar pig butchering scams has been identified, and it is reportedly that the downfall of a Philippine mayor may be connected to Chinese gangs. Trump will receive his sentence for the New York hush money case conviction before his inauguration, as an appeals court confirms the verdict that holds Trump responsible for sexually abusing E. Jean Carroll. Apple CEO Tim Cook contributes $1 million to Trump's inauguration. AP NORC poll reveals that Republicans' confidence in the accuracy of U.S. elections has increased following Trump's victory. Ukraine halts transit of Russian gas to Europe after a pre-war deal expired. Ukraine says it downed Russian helicopter with sea drone for first time. 1,700 Ukrainian troops equipped by the West flee after being trained in France, leaving the rest of their brigade to suffer heavy losses in battle with Putin's forces. Russia rejects Trump's Ukraine peace proposals.
U.S. imposes sanctions on Russian and Iranian entities for election interference attempts. A U.S. Army soldier is detained in connection with extortion schemes targeting AT&T and Verizon. The U.S. is evaluating possible regulations to limit or prohibit Chinese drones.
IDF relaxed engagement rules post-October 7, increasing civilian casualties, as per New York Times report. Israel targets broadcast van, resulting in the deaths of 5 Palestinian journalists in Gaza. Israel conducts airstrike on Houthi rebels in Yemen's capital, with Houthi chief claiming proximity.
Former Taipei mayor faces charges of bribery and improper use of political donations. China revises its 2023 economic size estimate upwards. Bosnia experiences over 200,000 power outages in homes following a Balkan snowstorm.
Trump's Christmas message includes threats to annex Canada, control the Panama Canal, and claim Greenland. Biden promises additional U.S. weapons to Ukraine following Russia's Christmas offensive. Media report that a Russian air defense missile might have intercepted an Azerbaijani aircraft.
The Hill notes that Congress possesses the authority to prevent Trump from assuming office, yet legislators must take immediate action. It is reported that Trump has advocated for alterations in voting procedures, and GOP majorities in Congress intend to pursue this. Americans are fatigued by political updates. TV ratings and a recent AP NORC survey indicate they are increasingly disengaging. Trump's border czar announces that migrant families will be re-incarcerated in detention centers. Egypt prohibits Syrians from entering the country globally. Syria plans to restart international flights at Damascus airport. French and German foreign ministers hold a meeting with Syria's new leaders, marking the first high-level EU visit since Assad's overthrow. China's high-speed rail network is expected to surpass the 50,000 kilometers mark by 2025. Huawei is reportedly training 300,000 technology students annually despite restrictions from the United States. Beijing is actively promoting the use of domestically produced chips in its electric vehicles.
Singapore Airlines announces a $1.27 billion refurbishment for its first, business, and economy classes. A piece of space debris, estimated to weigh over 1,000 pounds, reportedly collides with a village in Kenya. China's Alphabet plans to release its robot dataset as open source, claiming it surpasses Google's in size and quality.
Yellen announces that extraordinary measures to prevent default will commence in mid-January. Tron's T3 unit has confiscated $100 million in illicit USDT within a mere 4 months. Morgan Stanley's E-Trade is considering the possibility of providing crypto trading services. China's industrial profits have continued to decrease for the 4th consecutive month, with a 7.3% drop in November. Meanwhile, the UK economy experienced stagnation in the last quarter, as indicated by revised figures. In contrast, the U.S. retail real estate market is thriving, contradicting forecasts of an e-commerce-driven downturn.
A new law mandates that U.S. agencies must exchange custom source code with one another. The FDA has introduced a proposal for a rule that would necessitate standardized testing methods to detect and identify asbestos in talc-containing cosmetic products. Supersonic passenger planes are moving closer to a comeback, following a successful Boom XB-1 test flight that approached the sound barrier.
Austrian liberals withdraw from coalition discussions, causing significant disruption. Palestinian Authority temporarily halts the broadcast of Qatar's Al Jazeera TV. Iran informs Italy of its intention to exchange prisoners for an imprisoned Italian journalist.
China's short video user base decreases by 300 million as the market reaches its peak. Alipay integrates AI image search to strengthen its super app position in competition with Tencent's WeChat. In the United States, a federal appeals court blocks net neutrality rules concerning corporate influence over internet speeds. China plans to offer subsidies for smartphone purchases to boost consumer spending. Meanwhile, in the U.S., a Utah lawsuit alleges that TikTok was aware its live streams targeted children. Additionally, free speech organizations and members of Congress are appealing to the Supreme Court to protect TikTok based on the First Amendment. Former President Trump has also requested the Supreme Court to temporarily halt the law that could lead to TikTok's ban, suggesting a negotiated resolution be pursued by his administration.
Interim South Korean president impeached mere 2 weeks following the ousting of former leader. Musk and Ramaswamy encounter backlash from MAGA supporters after advocating for foreign workers in tech firms, with Musk endorsing a post implying Americans are too retarded for skilled jobs. Americans are fatigued by political news, as indicated by declining TV ratings and a recent AP-NORC poll showing increased disengagement. Estonia's navy will safeguard the undersea power link following damage to the main cable. Finland has detained a tanker associated with Russia after additional undersea Baltic cables were severed, prompting NATO to enhance its military presence in the Baltic due to suspected sabotage. An investigation in Azerbaijan reportedly concludes that a Russian missile was responsible for a fatal crash. It is said that pilots perished along with numerous others in a Christmas Day plane crash, yet they managed to assist half of the passengers in surviving. Russia claims the Azerbaijan Airlines flight that crashed had been diverted due to fog and an alert from a Ukrainian drone. Russia releases a propaganda video depicting the shooting down of Santa Claus.
China asserts that its military 5G base station is the first globally capable of linking 10,000 robots across any terrain. Meanwhile, Russia has reportedly discovered secret war plans aimed at 160 locations in Japan and South Korea. In South Korea, President Yoon's team argues for immunity from insurrection charges, referencing a Trump ruling. This led to a tense standoff, where South Korean presidential guards blocked the arrest of the impeached Yoon. However, 3 days prior, a South Korean court had approved the arrest of President Yoon as part of a martial law investigation.
Steve Bannon enters conflict against Elon Musk amid MAGA disintegration. Musk labels MAGA faction contemptible fools as a virtual civil war develops. Far-right activist Laura Loomer alleges her suspension on X by Elon Musk.
Trump criticizes Britain's decision to impose a windfall tax on North Sea oil producers, calling it a significant error. The Biden administration introduces exemptions in its new climate regulations for hydrogen energy. Economists warn that Donald Trump's MAGAnomics could harm economic growth, according to FT polls. Trump incorrectly associates New Orleans terror attack with migrants following inaccurate Fox News report. Biden states Islamic State-inspired driver intended to kill before fatal New Orleans rampage. Sources claim Matthew Livelsberger's wife ended their relationship days before the explosion outside Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. A source reveals the driver who detonated a Tesla Cybertruck at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas was an active-duty Army Green Beret. Officials report the soldier shot himself in the head before the Cybertruck exploded outside Trump's Las Vegas hotel. Police confirm suspects in Vegas explosion and New Orleans attack were stationed at the same Army base.
Judge pushes CFTC trial with Gemini to January 21st. FBI releases new video and evidence in D.C. pipe bomb case, still unsolved 4 years later. Biden awards Liz Cheney a presidential medal for challenging January 6th attack, as Biden awards the second highest civilian award to leaders of the January 6th committee and 18 others, where Biden awards Winter, Bono, and Soros with Medal of Freedom. Greenland's prime minister advocates for independence from Denmark, influenced by Trump's interest. President Biden prevents a $14 billion purchase of U.S. steel by Japan's Nippon Steel, leading to condemnation from both Nippon Steel Corporation and U.S. Steel for the U.S. government's unlawful decision to block the proposed acquisition. Taiwan suggests making it illegal for a political party to focus on unification with mainland China.
Nazi connections to Credit Suisse were more extensive than previously understood, as disclosed by concealed documents. Honduras warns of expelling the U.S. military amid preparations for Trump-era deportations in Latin America. Ghana invites the African diaspora to return, leading some Black Americans to acquire its citizenship. In India, draft data rules require parents' consent for children to have social media accounts. Washington Post editorial cartoonist claims she left after management refused her Donald Trump sketch. Citi and Bank of America announced their withdrawal from the Global Climate Banking Alliance. Jimmy Carter's funeral is considered a potential target for violent extremists, according to a security assessment. Donald Trump is upset about the flag being flown at half-staff to honor Jimmy Carter during the inauguration, as Jimmy Carter's 6-day funeral commences with a motorcade through South Georgia. Louis Farrakhan lost a defamation and First Amendment lawsuit against the Anti-Defamation League and others 9 months ago. He had initially sued Jewish leaders for $4.8 billion, but a judge dismissed the case. Neil Young is avoiding Glastonbury due to concerns about corporate control.
A recent bioacoustics study has discovered that leopards can be distinguished from other big cats by their distinctive roar. In an exciting paleontological find, a new species of carnivorous dinosaur has been unearthed in Kyrgyzstan. Health experts are advising individuals to engage in at least 150 minutes of aerobic exercise each week to facilitate weight loss.
Critics, rather than fans, are responsible for spreading the myth of the unsuccessful second album, according to a study. Research indicates that middle children tend to develop into more honest and cooperative individuals compared to only children. A study finds that sexualized self-presentation is prevalent in the visuals on dating apps, which is associated with negative body image.
Sony's executive claims that Madam Web and Craven were decent films, but they were unfairly criticized. In 2024, Steam introduced a record number of games, adding more than 18,000 new titles to the platform. Scarlett Johansson is ranked highest on McAfee's 2024 U.S. Celebrity Hacker Hot List, as she is the most commonly used celebrity name in online scams. In the United States, 26% of individuals intend to incorporate GLP-1 medications into their objectives for 2025, with Gen Z accounting for 37% of this group. An ancient wine, believed to be the oldest in the world, has been unearthed containing a surprising additional component, the ashes of a man. Fatty acid amides found in camembert cheese have shown to enhance cognitive function in mice following oral intake. A study has validated that Egyptians consumed hallucinogenic drinks during ancient rituals. Research indicates that a genetic predisposition to schizophrenia is associated with an abnormally shaped skull. Exposure to environmental radiation at Corneville has not consistently impacted the genomes or chemical mutagen tolerance traits of local worms.
Octopuses possess the skills to establish a future civilization if humans become extinct, according to a scientist. In a maze experiment, ants demonstrated better group problem-solving abilities than humans. Modern chimpanzees and ancient humans exhibit comparable patterns in choosing stone tools.
Chili peppers are becoming less spicy due to global warming. Enhancements in physical appearance lead to more pro-social actions. Internet use might enhance mental health benefits for older adults.
More than 180 David Hockney prints come to Palm Springs Art Museum. The Christo and Jean-Claude Foundation, together with the Shed, Central Park Conservancy, NYC Parks, and Bloomberg Philanthropies, celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Gates. YouTube testing a Play Something floating action button on Android. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, the stars of Deadpool and Wolverine, are unlikely to attend the Golden Globes. Meanwhile, Jason Momoa is set to portray Lobo in the upcoming film Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Additionally, the FBI has issued a warning to professional sports leagues after a series of burglaries targeting athletes' residences. OpenAI reveals it requires additional capital beyond initial expectations, as it introduces a for-profit strategy. Chinese DeepSeek V3, an ultra-large open-source AI, surpasses Llama and Qwen upon its release. A collection of small robots collaborates to accomplish ant-like feats of strength.
Japan's MUFG Bank experiences cyberattack similar to JL's. Metropolitan Police Department investigating the origin of the attacks. French authorities accuse Telegram's CEO of aiding criminal activities on the platform. A poll reveals that most Americans attribute the UHC CEO's death to insurance profits and denials, in addition to the killer. Saturn's rings might have existed since the formation of the gas giant, according to a study. Archaeologists are uncovering dugout canoes in the American Midwest that date back as far as the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Children born during World War II sugar rationing grew into healthier adults. Digital health companies faced significant challenges from Wall Street in 2024 as the industry adjusted to the slowdown following the COVID pandemic. Alibaba and eMart are planning to establish a $4 billion e-commerce joint venture in Korea. In the United States, holiday retail sales increased by 3.8%, according to MasterCard, primarily due to a rise in restaurant and clothing sales. Half-Life 3 rumors intensify following a cryptic tweet from the G-Man voice actor, marking his first in years. Samsung and Google are set to introduce a new spatial audio format in 2025, competing with Dolby Atmos. Hisense has unveiled a new 4K laser TV series, featuring displays up to 150 inches and 6.2.2 channels of Dolby Atmos sound.
Getty Images is considering a merger with Shutterstock. Valve generates more revenue per employee than Amazon, Microsoft, and Netflix collectively. TikTok data indicates that older music is experiencing renewed popularity. Air pollution generated by artificial intelligence might exceed that of all vehicles in California, prompting the state to address air pollution associated with AI. India has imposed restrictions on VPNs, leading to the removal of Cloudflare's One app from both the Apple and Google stores. A U.S. appeals court has halted the Biden administration's attempt to reinstate net neutrality regulations.
Telegram has prohibited Russian state-owned media channels in multiple EU nations. India has removed restrictions on WhatsApp payments. The UK Antitrust Authority has initiated a review of IBM's acquisition of HashiCorp.
The Large Hadron Collider has discovered the first evidence of the heaviest antimatter particle to date. Scientific American notes that the U.S. drone panic reflects UFO overreactions. Additionally, Bezos' Blue Origin has received an FAA license for the inaugural launch of its New Glenn rocket. The United States has included a ninth telecommunications company in the list of those compromised by the Chinese-backed Salt Typhoon cyber espionage group. The White House attributes these hacks to the telecommunications company's failure to implement basic security measures. Additionally, experts report that hackers have taken control of a variety of companies' Chrome extensions. Furthermore, the U.S. is introducing cybersecurity regulations aimed at reducing the consequences of health data breaches.
Telegram rolls out third-party account verification, launches NFT GIFs feature. Tech giants miss Malaysia social media deadline. More than half of all Google search takedowns now come from linkbusters.
Americans reduced streaming service expenditures by 23% in 2024, according to a study. Framework laptops to incorporate RISC-V technology. Kodak expands film production capacity to address commercial and consumer needs.
China introduces a prototype for the fastest train globally, which can attain speeds of 450 kilometers per hour. Scientists involved in the project claim that China's Metal Storm weapon is capable of firing millions of rounds each minute. A fabricated video depicting an Emirates plane crash has sparked worries about AI-generated content, leading Emirates to criticize TikTok and Elon Musk's X for their slow response in removing the fake AI video of the plane crash. Human-created objects now surpass the total weight of all living organisms on Earth. Tesla's response to the Cybertruck explosion demonstrates the company's ability to remotely unlock, monitor, and spy on its vehicles, with Las Vegas police acknowledging Elon Musk's assistance in investigating the incident outside the Trump Hotel. In Los Angeles, a collision occurred between a Waymo robotaxi and a Serve delivery robot. As roads become increasingly populated with robot access, crossing them can be frightening, and school crossing guards report having to evade driverless cars to prevent accidents. Microsoft plans to allocate $80 billion for AI-equipped data centers in the fiscal year 2025. China makes a significant advancement in medicine by performing the first surgery through satellite. Beijing announces initiatives to increase the use of driverless vehicles in the city. Geoffrey Hinton, a prominent figure in AI, supports Elon Musk's legal action against OpenAI's transition to a profit-driven model, stating it conveys a negative message. Meanwhile, Alibaba collaborates with Li Kai-Fu's unicorn company as China's AI industry becomes more centralized. Additionally, a research study indicates that AI chatbots are ineffective in diagnosing patients through verbal interactions. OpenAI did not fulfill its promise of providing an opt-out tool by the year 2025. The Texas legislature is expected to review comprehensive AI legislation in 2025. Some have suggested that Texas should avoid adopting the European approach to AI regulation. NVIDIA plans to make Run AI, the software it purchased for $700 million to assist companies in managing GPUs for AI, available as open source.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai urges employees to prepare for significant challenges in 2025, emphasizing that the stakes are high. He also noted that AI advancements will become more difficult in 2025, as the low-hanging fruit is gone. TSMC has started mass production at its first chip plant in Kumamoto, Japan. A new magazine titled The Art of the Algorithm has been launched, focusing on works related to artificial intelligence. Toyota's humanoid robot, capable of playing basketball, successfully makes an 80-feet shot, setting a new record. Godfather of AI warns that artificial intelligence might lead to human extinction within the next decade.
In 2024, over 10,000 migrants perished attempting to reach Spain via sea, according to an aid organization. Abu Dhabi has introduced a golden visa program targeting superyacht owners. It is claimed that the Assad regime generated billions through the production